Hello, everybody, and a very big welcome to you all watching us at home for our first Nature Heroes online event here at the National Museum of Ireland Natural History. My name is Geraldine, and I'm a zoologist and a museum educator here at the museum. So, the first half of today's event is pre-recorded and will last about 20 minutes or so, but then we will go live for a Q&A. So if you do have any questions, please make sure to comment on Facebook or YouTube. And please be aware that to post a question, you will need to have a Facebook or YouTube account. So excited because today's event is all about celebrating and learning about some of the great work that wildlife organisations do in Ireland. It's August and we're all on our summer holidays, and it's a good time, I think, to talk about the sea life around the coastlines. And as it happens, we have a lot of very cool whale skeletons and stuffed or taxidermy sharks that are on display in the museum, which you can see on the screens now. So we thought we would invite our good friends from the Irish Whale and Dolphin group in for a chat so that we could learn more. And I'm really excited to invite and welcome today's speaker, Siobhán Regan, the Education and Outreach Officer from the Irish Whale and Dolphin group. Hi, Siobhán, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm really excited. And Siobhán, do you have a background in marine biology as well?
I do, Geraldine. Thanks for asking. So I am a freshwater and marine biologist. So I'm a scientist, but I also work as the Education and Outreach Officer with the Irish Whale and Dolphin group. So the Irish Whale and Dolphin group, for anybody who doesn't know at home, is an NGO, a non-governmental organization. And our mission is to promote the better understanding of cetaceans, so whales, dolphins, and porpoises, and their habitats in Irish waters through education and research. So I suppose that's where I come in with the scientific background and also then an education side as well. So I like to talk about whales and dolphins to anybody that will listen. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I can tell everyone a little bit about whales and dolphins that's at home. So we do this, I suppose, in lots of different ways. So the group there is a scientific side. So we have scientists who go out and do surveys, dedicated surveys. We use lots of different equipment, like these really cool things here. So that's kind of on the scientific side. These are acoustic sea pods that we can listen to whales and dolphins. So like bats, whales and dolphins echolocate and communicate underwater. So we listen in on them with these devices here.
Cool.
Which is really, really cool. So that's a sea pod and an acoustic release. But then for everyone at home, so this is a Nature Heroes event. So I want to let everyone at home know that everybody can be a scientist and a nature hero. So the group runs citizen science projects where we have sighting and stranding schemes. So we would love everyone to get involved, and they can do this with a little bit of time and patience. And we'll talk a little bit later about where you can go to watch whales and dolphins. But just at the start, everyone can get involved. We have a new app for mobile devices that is free to download for Android and Apple. So even though I'm a scientist and a few other people in the group are scientists, everyone can be a citizen scientist. So
great to know.
And learn about whales and dolphins, which is so exciting.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for giving us that great introduction into the work that the Irish Whale and Dolphin group do. It's so important to learn about it. And who doesn't want to be a citizen scientist? That's a cool thing to do. So, Siobhán, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions as we go through our chat. And so the first one I thought would be good to ask is, what's the difference between a whale, a dolphin, a porpoise, and, say, a fish like a shark?
Yeah, so this is a brilliant question, Darlene. And it's one actually that I get asked quite regularly. So people often think that because whales and dolphins live in the sea, that they are fish. But actually, they're mammals just like you and me. So I always say that it's same, but different. So whales and dolphins are mammals like you and me. but they're marine, so they live in the sea. So what does this mean? Why are they different to fish? Well, whales and dolphins are mammals because they have to breathe air, while fish and sharks have gills. They can breathe by moving through the water. Whales and dolphins also, like humans, have hair. Now, the really cool thing about that is that they only really have hair when they're born, and then they kind of lose them a little bit, which makes them more aerodynamic. They can swim through the water easily when they lose their hair, but they do have it when they're born. They also give birth to live young, opposed to sharks, skates, rays, and fish that lay eggs and have egg cases. So those are the couple of differences. And also, whales and dolphins, the bigger you are, the more kind of sentient as well that you are. Normally, your young need a lot of help being raised. You think of a human baby, they're quite helpless. Well, whales and dolphins are the same. They need to be fed milk as well for the first part of their life. Whether for fish and some sharks, it's kind of like you hatch, you're out of your egg, and away off you go, you're on your own. So those are some of the differences between sharks and fish and whales and dolphins, which are mammals. So they're same, but different.
Same, but different. Fantastic. Thanks, Siobhán. That's great. Now that we know these differences, okay, Siobhán, what are the most common types or species of whales and dolphins seen in Ireland? And how can people like the ones watching at home today, how can they see their local marine wildlife?
Yeah, so fantastic question again. So Irish waters is actually hugely biodiverse. So we have 25 different species of whales and dolphins in Irish waters, which is just amazing. Yeah. And some of these are offshores. They live in deep water, which you mightn't be able to see them then from land. But actually, the majority, let's say, are very frequently seen from our coastline. So some of those include bottlenose dolphins, common dolphins, and especially harbour porpoise, which are our smallest cetacean, and they're so cute. Yeah, and then we also have large whales. So as you said at the beginning there, it's August right now, and we've got large whales like minke whales, humpback whales, and even the second largest animal in the world, the fin whale, being seen from Irish coastlines right now, from citizen scientists on a headland. And it's amazing. Like, this is the second largest animal in the world, and you can see it going on your walk in Ireland, which is amazing. Now, there are some kind of key areas, I suppose, in Ireland where you can see them. And there's a map up on everybody's screen there that highlights some of these locations. So if you wanted to see the bigger whales, like the fin whales and the humpbacks, kind of Cork and Kerry are really good places. But don't forget the East Coast. Dublin is also fantastic. Dublin Bay is fantastic for our smallest cetacean, harbour porpoise.
Yes. Well, she's telling the truth, people, because Siobhán gave me a tip to go to Howth to have a look for some porpoises, and I went 2 weeks ago, and I saw a porpoise, a little cute one, and I was absolutely delighted. Couldn't believe it.
Exactly, it's amazing. So everyone can go out to the coast, to a headland, preferably if a bit of height is great, and stay there for about an hour. And you're very likely in good sea conditions, so where it's not too windy or choppy, you're very likely to see something, especially at this time of year. And if you do see something, it would be really cool if you could take part in our sighting scheme. So become a citizen scientist and report them either on our website, so Irish Whale and Dolphin Group.ie, or on our new free mobile app as well, so you can become a scientist. But just in case people at home don't believe me, they're like, we don't have whales and dolphins in Ireland, I don't know what this person is talking about. We're going to show you a little video now of some of these frequently seen species, just in case they don't believe us.
That was fantastic. I I still can't believe that all of those shots of whales and dolphins were taken around the coast of Ireland. It's unbelievable to think that they're just all out there.
I know, and they're not even that far offshore, because that's something people really, they're like, you've got your science degree, you go offshore, you're, 100, 200 miles offshore. What can I do? And I honestly say you just need a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and you're very likely to see something, especially when you know what you're looking for. And we've got loads of nice tips and everything on our website to help people get engaged with that as well. So definitely, there's loads out there.
Well, there is a different type of species now that is on my wish list to see in the wild, and I have yet to see one. But I do know the Irish Wetland Dolphin Group do study this special shark that I'm talking about that lives off the coast of Ireland. So, Siobhán, could you tell us a little bit more?
Of course, Geraldine. So, guys, everybody at home, this is super cool, okay? So the Irish Wetland Dolphin Group, we are kind of niche. We only really do whales and dolphins, but we collaborate with the Irish Basking Shark Group as well, the research group, because these are, we like to say, they're honorary members of the group. They are so cool. They're the second largest fish in the world. So they can be about 6 to 8 meters in length, which is really, really cool. And I think you've got one in the museum for, if anybody would like to visit. They are filter feeders. So they're gentle giants. They filter feed on tiny little organisms like plankton and zooplankton and all of that kind of stuff. So they swim around. You can see in the picture there with their mouth open, and they swim. And then every now and then they'll go and they'll kind of swallow everything, which is really, really cool. We've got another video in a minute to show you. But I suppose, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about them as well. So basking sharks in Irish waters are hugely important. We have about 10 to 20% of the global population, which is super cool. And we know this because the group do research. So we went out, we got notions, and we saw that sharks and fish produce a slime, and basking sharks produce this kind of black, goopy slime stuff. Yeah. And we were like, ooh, what's this? So we said, we'll try and sample it and we'll see what we can get. So we got actually a long pole and a pot scrubber, very basic, not complicated. And
budget.
Nice and easy. And we let the basking sharks, they're very slow. They kind of don't mind people. They're quite oblivious animals. And we just put the pole with the pot scrubber just beneath the surface of the water and let the shark gently swim under it. And we got a sample of this slime. And this is where it gets a little bit complicated, because then we extracted DNA from that. And we were able then to see who's related to who, what sex they are. And then we were able to extrapolate the population, which is really, really cool. And now in really good news, this is the basking shark year, because we're hoping that the government is actually going to add them to the Wildlife Act to protect them as well. So currently they're not protected, but we're really, fingers crossed, it's looking like they will be protected in Irish waters, which is really cool.
That's great to hear. Fingers crossed. Thanks for sharing that. That's so important to know about.
No worries. And just in case, again, people don't believe me that they're gentle giants and they with their mouths open, we have another little video that I think was shot actually off Clare last year. So we can show that now.
Wow, that is some fantastic footage. It's so amazing to be able to see inside their mouths as they just move along, these gentle giants. Wow, that's so cool.
It's so cool. And again, they can be seen from headlands. A friend of mine actually was just down here in Clare at Loop Head yesterday, and they saw basking sharks as well. They thought they were feeding, so they're still in Irish waters. They're starting to leave now, but yeah, they you can see them from coastal waters as well. There was great sightings this year from Low and Achill and everything. So that's where you got to go if you want to.
I have to get out there. I have to get out there. Well, guys, it's now time for something a little different. We're going to actually take you inside the museum and have a peek at the sharks that we have on display there. So we have another video that we're going to show you now. At the National Museum of Ireland Natural History, there are lots of different types of fish on display, including sharks. Inside the museum, there is a cabinet where you can see lots of different types or species of shark found around the Irish coast. Nearby, you can also take a peek at their closest living relatives, the rays, skates and chimeras. Did you know that there are many different types of sharks in Irish waters? In fact, there are about 35 types of shark, 29 skate and ray, and 7 chimera, also known as rabbitfish. Let's take a closer look at what's on display. This large and stocky shark is called a porbeagle. It was netted outside Dunleary Harbour on the south side of Dublin in 1893, 128 years ago. Today, it's very unlikely to see a porbeagle in Irish waters, as they are critically endangered. This means that they are very rare and at risk of going extinct or dying out. Can you see the thresher shark's long whip-like tail? It's nearly as long as its body. It uses its tail to stun and catch a tasty feed of fish. This thresher shark was caught off Ballycotton in County Cork in 1890. This is an angel shark. Can you see how its body is shaped very differently to other sharks? It has a flattened body and fins that look like wings. This helps it to blend into the sandy seabed where it waits in ambush for prey, such as flatfish and crabs. In the past, they were a common sight in places like Tralee Bay in County Kerry. There was even an important breeding ground there where baby angel sharks were born. In recent years, few have been seen there and the shark is now at risk of disappearing from the Irish coast forever. The basking shark is the largest fish in Irish waters. This basking shark on display at the museum was caught off Inishbofin Island in 1870, over 150 years ago. It is nearly 8 metres long, but they can grow about 12 metres. That's longer than a double-decker bus. Sharks are important predators or hunters that help keep Irish waters healthy. They do this by keeping fish stocks in good condition. Irish species like the porbeagle, thresher, angel shark and basking shark are all threatened with extinction and are very sensitive to issues like overfishing, pollution and the climate crisis. It's time to stand up for sharks. We hope you enjoyed the sneak peek inside of the sharks inside the museum. And Siobhán, so we just watched that video, and at the end of the video, it mentions some of the threats that are endangering sharks. But what are the threats that that whales and dolphins are facing in Irish waters, and how do scientists find out information about them?
Yeah, so this is really, really important and actually super relevant in today's world with the biodiversity and the climate crisis at the moment. And so whales and dolphins face many threats, mainly because they're sentient, they're at the top of the food chain, so they're top predators, similarly to sharks. So a lot of the threats actually overlap that you were speaking about in the video there, like overfishing and all of that. But with whales and dolphins, some very specific things are also really important, like noise pollution. So everything that humans do, it's called anthropogenic, which is a really fancy word for basically, anthropogenic. Everyone at home can be like,
anthropogenic.
Anthropogenic. And it basically means man-made. So these are man-made problems, I suppose, and threats. Such as noise pollution and ship strikes. So from boats or any kind of construction work or anything, Remember, whales and dolphins, they echolocate, they communicate through sound. Like I was saying at the start, with the sea pods, that's how we monitor them. And so that's a really big issue if there's too much sound and then they can't hear each other.
Oh.
Yeah, and some other problems you can see in the pictures there, you can see lots of marine debris, so plastic and bits of fishing nets maybe, or things that animals can get entangled in or wrapped up in. That's also a really big problem. Fisheries bycatch does affect whales and dolphins, and indeed sharks in Irish waters as well, and globally. And this is the accidental catch by fishers. So when a fisher is fishing on a certain type of fish, let's say they are interested in the fish, they don't want to catch dolphins, but maybe the dolphins are feeding on the same thing that they're catching, and sometimes they end up getting caught as well. So that is a problem that we can mitigate through research. The more we know about these problems, the better we're equipped to deal with them. So those are some of the threats as well.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. That was some really important information to learn about. So we just have time for one more quick question before we go live to the Q&A. So Siobhán, can you tell us, now that we've learned about the endangers, can you tell us some more about how we can help the marine species living off the coast of Ireland?
Of course. So like I said before, whales and dolphins are ocean heroes. They help sequester carbon in their blubber. They're giant swimming trees, which is really cool. But you can help them, I suppose. Help us help them with really, really simple things. So they seem really small, but every kind act adds up. And really all you need to do is be mindful. So try not to be wasteful, reuse things if you can, reduce your waste, repair things, try not to be wasteful, really. Use reusable water bottles, lunch boxes, all of that kind of thing. And also, if possible, get involved in citizen science. So in Ireland, there are fantastic projects here in citizen science. Like we work with the Natural History Museum for our genetic tissue bank on our sighting and stranding schemes. There's also the Biodiversity Ireland have fantastic schemes as well. So really get engaged, get noticing. The more information we can gather about our environment, the more scientists will be able to put pieces together. It's like a jigsaw. So the more pieces we have, the more we can understand, and therefore the more we can conserve and save. So really, I would all just say, if you have a passion and an interest, just ask questions, take notice of things, and be engaged. And that's really how you can be an ocean hero and an ambassador for our environment, by asking questions and getting
That's some great advice, Siobhán. I completely agree with you as well. Ask questions, and that's a great lead to.
Liz, there we go.
So thank you so much, Siobhán, for coming today and having a chat with us. It was so much fun and so interesting. And we are now going to go live to the Q&A, and we're really excited to hear your questions and answer them. So thanks a million, guys, and we'll see you in a minute. Hello, we are back, but this time we are live. So that was quick.
Yeah, flew. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Geraldine again, and we have Siobhán here from the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group. So thanks so much to everyone for joining us today. And I would just like to give a shout out first to Liam and Oisin Higgins. Thanks a million for joining us today. Yeah, and thanks for commenting. We also love the sea and also think that basking sharks are very cool.
Sure.
And so if anybody does have any questions, please pop them into the chat and we'll get through them. So Siobhán, I'm going to go through some of these questions now. So we have one from Emma, and Emma is asking, Emma's question is, sorry, I'm just trying to find it here now. Oh yeah, is there a time of year that is the best time to see whales and dolphins in Ireland?
Yeah, so Emma, this is actually a fantastic question, and there definitely are peak seasons, let's say peak times, and kind of hotspot areas where you're more likely to see whales and dolphins, especially the larger whales. And this is kind of in the summer, autumn months for large whales like your humpbacks, your fin whales, and kind of hotspot areas really are Cork and Kerry. In more recent years, we're seeing more in Galway Bay as well, and Donegal Bay even. And these are kind of the summer and the autumn months. But Emma, the really brilliant thing about Ireland and Irish waters is that there are whale and dolphin species here all year round that can be seen pretty much all of the time, especially the dolphin species and the harbour porpoise as well. So don't think that you have to go far away, that you have to go to Cork or Kerry or Mayo to see these really amazing things. If you're near the coastline in Ireland and you spend enough time, we normally say for about an hour and a half, if you watch the water in good weather conditions, you're very likely to see something. So there are better times of the year to see certain different species, but if you can put the effort in during good weather in Ireland, you've got a good chance of seeing something.
Yeah, and like I said 2 weeks ago, I went out to Howth. I'm a city girl. I went out to Howth and I got to see a porpoise, so it was a fantastic experience. So,
exactly, and that's just right outside of Dublin City. Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
No matter where you are, once you're by the coast, obviously.
Of course. So some more questions for you. So Siobhán, could you tell us a little bit more about the differences between the toothed whales and the baleen whales?
Yeah, so this is another really great question, and one I get asked all the time. So there are different, so collectively cetaceans are what scientists call whales, dolphins, and porpoises. But in this, there are toothed whales, so odontocetes, and they have teeth that could look like this.
Wow.
So this is a real tooth. This is from a sperm whale, which is a really deep diving species that we have in offshore Irish waters. And as you can see from this tooth, it's pretty impressive. It's about the same size as my head.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, and these are odontocetes. So they have true teeth, let's say. Yes. But we also have baleen whales or mystocetes, which would be humpback whales, fin whales, all of that. And their teeth look like this. So you can see these kind of long bristly bits. This is from a minke whale, which is Ireland's smallest baleen species. And they're seen quite regularly in very good numbers this year as well in coastal waters. But the baleen will hang from the upper jaw of the mouth. And basically these guys are filter feeders. So they take in big gulps of water and they eat kind of plankton and zooplankton. Which brings me on, because we've been talking about basking sharks a good bit today, Geraldine. So just like baleen whales, basking sharks are quite similar because they also filter feed on plankton, gentle giants. But instead of teeth that look like this, basking sharks use these.
What a day.
Everyone can see those at home. They're in a lovely tube. These are gill rakers. So these aren't actually in the mouth like teeth. They don't hang from the upper jaw, or they're not in the lower jaw. They're actually at the side of the head in the gills.
Remember when we saw the video earlier when you could look inside, could you see them? They're like stripes kind of.
Those big stripes. There's these gill rakers in there. And that's also why when the basking shark is feeding, it's swimming around with its mouth open really slowly. And then when it wants to swallow food, it has to go like this. And basically they're flushing water through these gill rakers so that the plankton gets washed down into their tummies.
Delicious.
So those are the different teeth that we have.
Fantastic. Oh, I love them. The massive sperm whale tooth it's huge.
It's so big. Now, not all odontocetes' teeth are this big. Sperm whales are just very big. They're very large. But
okay. Well, when you mentioned the baleen whales, and there was a question there wondering, so what is the largest whale in the world, and do we ever see them in Ireland?
Yeah. Oh, I love this. So the largest whale in the world, and indeed the largest mammal on Earth, or the largest animal, I should say, not even mammal, is the blue whale. And we do have them in Irish waters. And actually, this year, a blue whale was seen offshore, so just off Galway, Now, it was in quite deep water, so it was a good bit offshore, by the team from the Marine Institute on the RV Celtic Explorer. So they logged a blue whale with us, and that's the first blue whale that we've documented since 2018.
Oh.
So they are here, and they're very, very cool. They can grow to about 30-ish meters, maybe a little bit bigger. So they're absolutely massive, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're in Irish waters right now. And we do think that blue whales are here, you know, every year, but it's hard to get the effort offshore. So sometimes we just can't see them. That doesn't mean they're not there, though.
One of my favorite facts about blue whales is that when the blue whale calf or baby's born, it's the same size as a female elephant.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Massive. Okay, well, we actually have a time for just maybe one or two more questions. So we've one here that says, how many varieties of dolphins are in the world? And this might be a tricky one. I don't know if you'd be able to get that off the top of your head, Siobhel. Do you know how many different varieties of dolphins there are?
Yes, so that's a really, really good question. And there are loads of different species of whales and dolphins. And I say it's approximate because actually scientists are learning more and more, and we're discovering new species even today. So the number is just an approximate number because we're finding out more all the time. But in Irish waters, there is 25 different species of whales, dolphins, and porpoises so far recorded.
Brilliant.
And globally at the moment, and we are, especially with genetics, and discovering new species all the time. But at the moment, I think there is about 80 different species globally of whales and dolphins. Now, but I could be wrong because that number does change. So.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for asking that or answering that. And then our last kind of question here is just how big so we said how big the whales get, the blue whales, it's about 30 meters or so long. Did you say that? But
yeah.
How big do dolphins get?
Yeah, so another brilliant question. And it's actually so difficult because it depends on the species again. So some dolphins can be really small. They could be about 2 meters, 1.5 meters, and that would be about the size of the harbour porpoise. And then we have bottlenose dolphins, which are also frequently seen around, and they're about 3 to 4 meters, so a little bit bigger. But then when we were saying about the teeth and the odontocetes, so technically sperm whales are odontocetes, so they're actually dolphins. And, you know, they can be huge. They can be, 16 meters. So
teeth like that, yeah,
exactly. So it depends on the species that you want to look at. But very good question.
Well, someone's asked here, this will be the last one now, I promise.
Yeah.
But it is a good question. What is the smallest dolphin off the coast of Ireland?
Yeah, fantastic. So the smallest one, and that's from Aisling, hello, is the harbour porpoise. So that's our smallest cetacean. And they are very cute, and they're very frequently seen in coastal waters. But then we also have kind of medium-sized dolphins like the common dolphin, and they're also quite frequently seen as well. So they would be smaller than the bottlenose again.
Great. Well, Siobhel, that's all we have time for at the moment for questions. But thank you so much, Siobhel, for coming on today and as well for your presentation. It was fantastic. And a big thank you to you and obviously the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group. We just want to say that we really value all the important work that you do for the marine wildlife around our coastlines. And we hope that everybody today who's watching will support you, the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group, by logging onto their website, which is up now on your screens, irishwhaleanddolphingroup.ie, and then just take a look at the website. Maybe just download their free app. And who knows, you might become a citizen scientist yourself this August or this year. It's never too late to give it a go. And then I just want to say that to wrap things up, just to say that the National Museum of Ireland Natural History is actually closed, guys, to the public at the moment, and that's due to essential works. So please do not try and visit us, but do go online to our museum.ie. And online there you can find lots of information about the museum and our collections, and also lots of our activities as well. And so we've actually designed some brand new activities for this event for you to try. One is called Shark Search, Word Search. Try saying that 10 times really quickly.
It's a tongue twister, actually, yeah.
So give that a shot, and you can download and print it at home, or subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notifications of upcoming live events. And you can also see any old events up there too. Everybody, you'll just get an email very soon from Eventbrite with links to those activities, but also it will include an online feedback form. So we'd really appreciate if you could take just 2 minutes to fill out that form, because we can learn so much from your feedback to improve our future events. So that's all, folks, for today. Thanks a million.
Thanks so much for having me as well. I've really enjoyed it. So we'll hopefully see you soon.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks so much, Abel. And everyone have a brilliant summer and a safe summer. Bye.
Bye.